After Mr. Kim's hurried departure, only 3 individuals remained near the altar: Ju-hai, Mr. Song, and our protagonist, Jin-Woo. Mr. Song directed his gaze towards the exit, remarking, "Since Mr. Kim left, the door has become even closer." He turned to Jin-Woo and said, "It's been a while, but I grasp the situation. Take Ju-hai with you and leave this place. As long as anyone remains at the altar, the door won't seal completely. You and Ju-hai have a long life ahead. You're still young. Get out quickly." Mr. Song encouraged Ju-hai, "Assist Jin-Woo, and both of you make your escape." However, Ju-hai found herself unable to move as fear gripped her, her legs completely immobilized from exerting her energy earlier to heal Jin-Woo. Tearfully, she admitted to Mr. Song, "My legs won't cooperate, I can't walk." Mr. Song surmised, "You've likely depleted your mana, which is why your legs are unresponsive." Jin-Woo interjected, "Carry Ju-hai and leave. I am without a leg, rendering me immobile. You take Ju-hai and go. I'll remain here." Ju-hai, with desperation in her voice, pleaded with Jin-Woo, "No, I'll stay in your place." To this, Jin-Woo reminded her, "I promise to get us out and feed you. You go and eat, I'll catch up later. If I survive, I'll reclaim my magical core from you and share a meal." Overwhelmed, Ju-hai burst into tears. Mr. Song acted swiftly, delivering a blow to her neck, rendering her unconscious, and sternly stated, "There's no time for such talk." He hoisted Ju-hai onto his shoulder. Jin-Woo implored Mr. Song, "Take good care of Ju-hai for me." Mr. Song reassured him, "Certainly, I will." As Mr. Song departed with Ju-hai, Jin-Woo watched them go, a deep sadness settling in. When they were out of sight, Jin-Woo sighed, "Thank heavens, they're safe. I'm the only one left to face my fate here. If only I had known I'd meet my end in this dungeon, I would have taken out insurance. What about my mother and sister?" Gazing at a sword resting on the altar, he contemplated his situation. Jin-Woo carefully lifts the sword and utters, "Now that I am facing death, I'll take one of these monsters down with me." The eerie statue monsters draw closer, and the scent of Jin-Woo's own blood fills the air, threatening to make him pass out. His eyelids grow heavy, bringing the statues even closer. Summoning his last ounce of strength, Jin-Woo brandishes his sword and challenges, "Come at me. I'll make sure one of you pays." The statues respond with a relentless assault, but Jin-Woo manages to deflect one of the blows, hurling the statue onto the altar. Covered in blood, Jin-Woo sprawls on the altar and pleads, "I don't want to die. I wish I had one more chance. I have my family to take care of. I don't want to meet my end here." The towering statue lunges at him once more, prompting Jin-Woo to cry out, "I just need one more chance. I refuse to die here." Just as the statue swings its sword, all the blue flames extinguish, and the statues freeze in place. An alarm rings out, and a mysterious window materializes before Jin-Woo. It reads, "You have fulfilled all the requirements of this secret mission." Jin-Woo queries, "What is this secret mission? What have I accomplished?" Another alarm blares, and its message on the window becomes apparent. Jin-Woo says, "What does this mean?" A second window pops up simultaneously, stating, "You have fulfilled the requirements. Now, you may become a player. Do you wish to become a player? Time is of the essence. If you decline, you'll perish within 0.02 seconds. Acceptance will grant you a new lease on life as a player." Jin-Woo contemplates his options and utters, "If accepting means I won't die, then this is the second chance I've been yearning for. I accept. I want to be a player." Jin-Woo hastily accepts, and the window responds with a warm greeting, "Welcome, player." A radiant light emanates from Jin-Woo, and the statues disintegrate. In the following scene, Jin-Woo awakens on a hospital bed. He looks around, puzzled, and says, "Was it all just a dream?" The door creaks open, revealing 2 individuals from the Hunter Association Guild. Jin-Woo inquires, "Who are you?" They reply, "We apologize for startling you. We've been eagerly awaiting your awakening. Do you realize how long you've been unconscious?" Jin-Woo questions their presence, and the inspectors explain, "We're representatives from the Korean Hunter Guild. You've been unconscious for 3 days. Jin-Woo is taken aback and asks, "But why have you come to see me?" The inspectors respond, "We've been expecting you for a specific reason." Jin-Woo inquires about the well-being of Ju-hee and Mr. Song. He's concerned and asks the inspectors if they're both okay. The inspectors offer reassurance, confirming that both of them are indeed safe. However, they express doubt about Mr. Song's future as a hunter due to his severed arm, suggesting he may have to retire. Ju-hee, on the other hand, is still in the hospital, recovering from her extensive mana usage and the trauma she endured. It seems unlikely that they would want to rejoin the Hunter Association after such a harrowing experience. As the conversation unfolds, the inspectors decide to share some information about Mr. Kim, but Jin-Woo intervenes, preferring not to delve into that subject. He expresses his disinterest in learning about Mr. Kim. The inspectors proceed to recount their experiences in the double-layered dungeon. They explain that only 6 people managed to emerge alive from this treacherous environment, highlighting the extraordinary danger posed by the monsters within. When they arrived with their team, they discovered Jin-Woo alone on the altar stone. The room was entirely devoid of other individuals or statues, which puzzled everyone. Jin-Woo is understandably baffled by this revelation and questions its credibility. Moreover, they speculate that Jin-Woo may have experienced a double awakening. Jin-Woo seeks clarification on the concept of a double awakening, and the inspector elaborates. They explain that when a hunter initially awakens and becomes a hunter, their power level increases. However, there are rare instances where a hunter experiences a second awakening, resulting in a substantial boost in their power. Some examples include C-rank hunters directly advancing to a rank or S-rank hunters experiencing a double awakening after achieving a rank status. To verify Jin-Woo's newfound power, the inspector presents a magic power detector equipped with a mana crystal. Jin-Woo is instructed to place his hand on it, which will reveal the extent of his newfound abilities. The inspectors express their belief that facing the dangerous monsters in the dungeon would have been impossible for ordinary hunters, suggesting that only a rank or S-rank hunters could have handled such a formidable challenge. This is why we're curious about your power level. It seems like you've experienced a double awakening, becoming significantly stronger, which enabled you to defeat those statue monsters. Jin-Woo places his hand on the crystal, and the inspector takes hold of the meter, eager to gauge his strength. However, his reaction is one of surprise and disappointment. He exclaims, "You're really weak. Even among E-rank hunters, the typical power level is around 70, but yours is a mere 10. Confused, Jin-Woo asks the inspector to explain his low power level. The inspector apologizes, admitting their mistaken assumption of a double awakening. They quickly leave the scene, leaving Jin-Woo wondering why they tested him when they knew he was weak. As he contemplates this, a new window appears before him, notifying him of an unread message. Jin-Woo ponders whether the inspectors could see this window, or if it's a private feature only visible to him. He tests it by tapping the window, but nothing happens. Jin-Woo speculates that it might be a touchscreen. Just then, his sister enters the room and asks Jin-Woo what he's up to. Concerned, she inquires if he's injured. To her relief, there are no wounds on his body, and he's even reattached a severed foot. Jin-Woo is left questioning the reality of the situation, unsure if it was all a dream or indeed reality. He debates whether to share this mysterious window and his newfound ability to regenerate body parts with the inspectors. His sister's voice snaps him out of his thoughts, expressing her distress over his constant injuries and her fear for his well-being. She urges him to stop venturing into dangerous dungeons. She's particularly frustrated that he seems to be the only one getting injured among all the hunters. She threatens to quit her studies and start working to support him if he continues getting hurt. Jin-Woo is torn, with the message window still in front of him. He asks his sister if she sees the strange window, but she cannot. Frustrated, Jin-Woo mentions the possibility of this being a message from the game. Jin-Woo found himself in a perplexing situation, with a series of bizarre events unfolding before him. He couldn't make sense of the sudden transition from a hospital room to a vast desert. His confusion deepened when a massive sand bleed monster emerged from the shadows, looming ominously behind him. In this strange and surreal environment, Jin-Woo realized that the instructions he had received were not to be taken lightly. The consequences of failing to complete his daily quest were becoming all too real. The clock's alarm continued to blare, reminding him that he had not met the mission's requirements, and he was about to face a penalty. As the enormous sand bleed monster drew closer, Jin-Woo's heart raced, and his survival instincts kicked in. He knew he had to act swiftly. His mind raced as he assessed his options. With determination, Jin-Woo decided to confront this new reality head-on. He had to find a way to complete the daunting tasks given to him, even in this surreal desert setting. His physical and mental strength were about to be put to the test, and his journey into this mysterious world was just beginning. As the sand bleed monster closed in, Jin-Woo braced himself for the impending challenge, unsure of what awaited him in this strange and perilous new world. In this scene, Jin-Woo faces a unique punishment and undergoes a transformation. His challenge begins with a message instructing him to stay in a desert for 4 hours while avoiding a formidable sand bleed monster. The reason behind this penalty is his neglect of a daily quest assigned to him earlier. Despite the initial fear and uncertainty, Jin-Woo successfully evades the monster for the entire duration of the 4-hour ordeal. As his punishment comes to an end, he returns to his hospital room. A message appears on his window, notifying him that he has completed the penalty quest. It offers him a reward for his accomplishment, and he eagerly accepts. Exhausted from his ordeal, Jin-Woo collapses on the hospital floor. Concerned hospital staff notice an unusual amount of sand in his room and are baffled by his condition. They urgently call for assistance. Several days later, two nurses discuss the patient named Jin-Woo, who, they learn, is a hunter. Despite his initial condition, he exhibits rapid recovery and strength, astonishing the hospital staff. One nurse shares her observation with the other, and the doctor's advice is to let Jin-Woo continue with his exercise regimen, as hunters regenerate faster than ordinary individuals. The nurses watch as Jin-Woo continues to exercise, but he discovers a mysterious open window that only he can see. As he completes his daily quest, he is given the option to select a daily recovery feature, which miraculously erases his fatigue. Jin-Woo is puzzled by these extraordinary events, but he continues his daily exercise routine and uses the recovery option to combat fatigue. Despite his curiosity and confusion, the supernatural nature of his situation becomes more evident to him with each passing day. My exhaustion has vanished, and I feel revitalized. Not only that, I now gain daily stat points and receive mysterious gift boxes that offer unique items. With these stat points, I can enhance my agility, health, or intelligence. My current level is just 1, but I suspect that leveling up might grant me more stat points. I also have a menu featuring skills and an inventory to store weapons and items, reminiscent of a game. The system governing my existence remains a mystery. After a few days, Jin-Woo approaches the reception nurse, requesting some time away from the hospital. When asked about the reason, Jin-Woo explains that he has some matters to attend to and will return afterward. The nurse grants permission, and Jin-Woo heads straight to Hapjeong Station. This, too, seems like part of a quest. In a gift box, Jin-Woo discovers a key, which piques his curiosity. While some gift box contents seem mundane, like bandages or pens, others can be extraordinary. This particular key has the power to create an instant dungeon, but it's exclusively usable on the 3rd floor of Hapjeong Station. Jin-Woo is uncertain if it will work since not all dungeons can be accessed with a mere key. The inexplicable events unfolding in his life may be due to a double awakening or could be a sign that it's impending. With the key in hand, Jin-Woo decides to test his newfound abilities discreetly. He acknowledges that if word gets out that the weakest hunter has achieved a double awakening, he'll become a laughingstock. He's confident in his running skills and plans to flee quickly if he encounters menacing creatures within the dungeon. Upon reaching the 3rd floor of Hapjeong Station, Jin-Woo inserts the key. A surge of energy emanates, and a portal materializes before him. With determination, he steps into the portal, and the window through which he entered disappears. A voice informs him that he's now inside the dungeon, and the portal's door seals shut, leaving Jin-Woo feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. At that moment, he notices a girl engrossed in her mobile phone. As he walked through the portal, Mo-Fang couldn't help but wonder if he had stumbled into an entirely different dimension. The portal's door seemed unlike anything he had encountered in the normal dungeons he'd explored before. Overwhelmed by the strangeness of the situation, Jin-Woo sat down and tears welled up in his eyes. "What am I supposed to do now?" he muttered to himself. He had initially planned to run away from this mysterious place, but an unexpected message popped up on a window before him. The message was clear: he couldn't leave this dungeon unless he defeated the boss or used a return crystal, which he didn't possess. Jin-Woo found himself in a quandary. Just a few days ago, he thought, I was nothing more than an E-rank hunter, struggling to even defeat E-rank monsters. And now, I'm trapped in a dungeon, forced to face the boss. Is this some kind of cruel joke? Jin-Woo began to hear voices emanating from within the dungeon, and it sent shivers down his spine. He asked himself if the game truly believed he could clear this dungeon without his usual party. After all, he couldn't even take down weak monsters, let alone face a dungeon boss. However, he mustered the courage to move forward towards the ominous voices. Mo-Fang's confidence waned with each step, and Jin-Woo detected a powerful, unpleasant scent wafting in the air, which signaled the presence of a menacing beast-type monster. Suddenly, a massive, red wolf with steel fangs emerged and lunged at Jin-Woo. In a desperate bid to evade the wolf's attack, Jin-Woo's instincts kicked in, and he swiftly dodged. This formidable adversary was known as the Steel Fang Ricken Wolf. Jin-Woo contemplated his dire situation, thinking, I couldn't even handle E-rank goblins, and now I'm up against a creature as powerful as this wolf. How can I possibly defeat it? As Jin-Woo's legs trembled in fear, Mo-Fang took a worried glance at them, but he couldn't get them to cooperate. The wolf pressed on with its relentless attacks, leaving Jin-Woo no room for error. Jin-Woo knew that he couldn't afford to get injured in this fight. One wrong move could cost him his life. He nimbly backflipped to avoid another attack, all the while pondering if his recent exercise regimen had made his body more agile and lightweight. Summoning his newfound courage, Jin-Woo leaped onto the wolf and, with a surge of strength he didn't know he possessed, struck it in the face. The impact sent the wolf sprawling to the ground. Astonished by his own strength, Jin-Woo couldn't help but wonder if it was because he had invested his stat points into increasing his strength. However, the steel fang-ricken wolf didn't stay down for long. Jin-Woo realized he didn't have the power to defeat it outright, but his newfound confidence began to grow. In the midst of the intense battle, Jin-Woo continued to pummel the formidable wolf with all his might, but it seemed as though his physical strength had no effect on the creature's seemingly impenetrable body. Frustration welled up within him as he realized that defeating this monster was an insurmountable challenge. Jin-Woo muttered to himself, "No matter how hard I try, I can't defeat it. I'm trapped here with no other hunters, no healers, and no weapons. All I have is my own body. How can I hope to defeat this beast with just that? I wish I had a weapon." As if answering his plea, Jin-Woo suddenly remembered that he had a sword in his inventory, a sword he had obtained from Mr. Kim. With a sense of urgency, he opened his inventory window and, to his surprise, found the sword nestled within. With determination, he pulled the sword from his inventory and said, "I don't know how this sword got here, but I'm not going to question it." Without wasting any more time, he swung the sword towards the wolf, cleaving it in two with a single decisive blow. As the wolf fell lifeless, a notification window appeared before him, declaring, "You have slain a Reikan. Your level has increased." Jin-Woo recalled Mr. Kim mentioning that the sword had cost 3 million won, an amount he could never afford. Yet now, it was his to wield. The realization dawned on him that this game's inventory was indeed remarkable. He could store anything within it. Just as he was coming to terms with his newfound power, 2 more wolves emerged from the shadows. However, now armed with the sword, Jin-Woo's fear had dwindled. With a swift strike, he felled the first wolf, but his sword slipped from his grip, falling to the floor. Determined not to lose his newfound weapon, Jin-Woo struggled to retrieve it. The remaining Reikan and wolf closed in on him, but with one last effort, he managed to pull the sword free. Swiftly, he dispatched the remaining wolf and watched as it fell lifeless. Yet, another wolf approached, a menacing figure in the dimly lit dungeon. Jin-Woo stared it down, remarking, "In the dungeon where I was left for dead, there were no wolves like you." The wolf disappeared into the darkness. As Jin-Woo caught his breath, a window displaying his stats appeared. His level had now reached 2, and he had gained 2 special skills, Sprint, allowing him to increase his speed, and Muscularity, which enabled him to enhance his physical strength. Jin-Woo marveled at his newfound abilities, realizing that leveling up had brought him more power and skills. Jin-Woo's journey in the world of hunting and leveling up was fraught with challenges and uncertainties. He knew that his stats would increase with every point, but completing his daily quest only yielded him 3 precious stat points. This realization led him to believe that killing monsters in the dungeon and leveling up were more beneficial in the long run. Jin-Woo pondered the significance of increasing his abilities, and while the exact benefits eluded him, he could certainly feel the newfound strength within himself. He had dedicated 20 points to his strength, and the results were tangible. However, he understood that leveling up was the key to increasing his stats and overall power. The title "The World's Weakest Hunter" no longer seemed like an unshakable fate. Jin-Woo approached the body of a dead wolf he had just slain, wondering why he hadn't obtained a magical core from it. This mystery left him questioning if this dungeon was different or if the monsters simply didn't leave behind their cores. Despite the lack of magical cores, Jin-Woo collected valuable items from the wolves and realized he had access to a store within his interface where he could keep or sell these items. Unfortunately, his low level prevented him from making purchases, but he could sell his acquired items for an unknown currency called beast gold. Stuck in the dungeon, Jin-Woo faced a dilemma. He couldn't leave until he defeated the boss, but he didn't have enough rations to endure a prolonged battle. If the boss was an E-rank monster, it would be stronger than him, and he had no idea where to find a return crystal for his escape. As he contemplated his options, he noticed a pack of wolves approaching, led by the wolf he had previously spared. Determined to level up and become stronger, Jin-Woo made a resolute decision to face the boss. He knew that strength was his path to taking care of his family and not being a weak E-rank hunter. With determination, he embraced the rules of this world, ready to follow them to the letter. After defeating a horde of wolves, Jin-Woo felt an overwhelming sense of exhaustion. However, he had earned a new title, Wolf Slayer. He realized that, no matter how good a weapon he bought, repeated dungeon visits and battles with monsters would inevitably wear down his equipment. He remembered his first weapon purchase at 50,001 and knew that he had to be resourceful in this unforgiving world. I engaged in countless battles against smaller monsters, but my trusty weapon faltered when I faced the dungeon's formidable boss. It shattered with a single mighty strike. On that fateful day, I managed to acquire 3 magical crystals, yet the earnings from selling them hardly covered the cost of a replacement weapon. This setback discouraged me from investing in another. Meanwhile, Jin-Woo effortlessly dispatched the wolves that came our way, amassing an impressive collection of 34 wolf fangs, 2 sets of traveler's clothing, and even a heartstone, a rare treasure that could potentially grant us an escape from the perilous dungeon. Clutching the heartstone in his hand, Jin-Woo hesitated. He questioned whether he should make a hasty exit. However, a spark of determination ignited within him. He realized that this dungeon, with its unique challenges and opportunities, might not cross his path again. Leaving now would mean squandering the chance to grow stronger. Today, he stood at a crossroads where he could forge his destiny. The prospect of the dungeon vanishing forever if he departed weighed heavily on his mind. After much contemplation, Jin-Woo steeled his resolve and chose to forge ahead, facing the looming boss. He dispatched wave after wave of wolves on his path, steadily increasing his level. With every monster he vanquished, the battles became more manageable. Jin-Woo observed that the dungeon was crafted like a video game, with monsters adhering to specific attack patterns. Wolves approached from the bottom, monkeys descended from above, and raisin monsters attacked from the rear. As he ventured deeper into the dungeon, Jin-Woo encountered monkey monsters and swarms of aggressive raisin creatures that attacked simultaneously. Jin-Woo recognized the predictability of these assaults, but as he maneuvered, a particularly agile monkey leaped from above. Swiftly, he dispatched it by thrusting his sword upwards. A large raisin creature lurked behind him, but Jin-Woo reacted swiftly, spinning to eliminate the threat. Even when a wolf monster lunged at him, he dispatched it with ease. Jin-Woo examined the name etched onto the wolf's hide, understanding that it altered based on their strength. White markings indicated weaker foes, orange denoted powerful adversaries, and red signified those of overwhelming strength. The first Reikan wolves he had faced were all orange, a testament to their formidable power. However, a white wolf had now crossed his path, proving to be a mere nuisance. He pondered whether his newfound strength would suffice to confront the dungeon's ultimate challenge, the boss. Standing on the dungeon's stairs, Jin-Woo felt a shiver down his spine. Whether the overwhelming sensation was due to the boss's sheer power or his heightened senses remained uncertain. He opened the window displaying his stats, noting that his level had plateaued at 15. With minimal increases, he reluctantly concluded that facing the dungeon's boss was his inevitable next step. As he surveyed his sword, Jin-Woo contemplated its fragility. "My sword won't endure much longer if I keep battling these smaller creatures," he murmured. Resolute, he began descending the darkened stairwell where the boss lurked. With each step, the atmosphere grew heavier, and as Jin-Woo reached the lower level, he encountered a large chamber filled with water. A monstrous serpent-like creature slithered through the depths, moving with remarkable speed. Without hesitation, Jin-Woo launched his attack, brandishing his sword to block the beast's vicious assault. Unfortunately, the boss monster's relentless force pushed him against the chamber wall, shattering his sword in the process. Gazing at the broken blade, Jin-Woo sensed a newfound strength after leveling up. Before him, the formidable snake-like boss, named Blue Poison Rasa, loomed large. Jin-Woo observed the creature's nameplate still gleaming orange, a sign of manageable power. Examining the beast's impenetrable scales, Jin-Woo realized his sword wouldn't pierce them, and his willpower of 25 was ineffective. The boss advanced, launching attacks that Jin-Woo narrowly dodged. Determined, he struck the creature's body with his sword, muttering, "I must hit it with unyielding force." However, the snake's scales proved impervious, thwarting Jin-Woo's efforts. Jin-Woo contemplated the dire outcome of a direct hit from the boss, given its extended, unpredictable movements. Suffering from the pain inflicted during a collision with the snake's body, Jin-Woo lamented, "I thought I had grown strong, but I'm still weak." He gathered his broken sword and resolved to become stronger, determined to shake off his past reputation as a weak-ass hunter. The painful memories of betrayal by stronger comrades haunted him. Recalling a past dungeon encounter with statue monsters, Jin-Woo recounted his fruitless attempts to gain his colleagues' support. Even though he saved their lives, they deserted him in the face of mightier foes. The cruel reality of strength prevailing over weakness had left a deep scar on his psyche, fueling his desire to evolve into a formidable hunter. Amidst his constant attacks on the massive snake boss, Jin-Woo remained resolute. "This boss doesn't hold a candle to those statue monsters. I was terrified back there, not here," he asserted. repeatedly striking the boss's scales with his broken sword. Jin-Woo grew increasingly frustrated with the lack of impact. In a desperate maneuver, he grappled with the snake monster, using his physical strength and determination to his advantage. With relentless force, he clamped onto the creature's neck and began pounding its body with his fists. The snake's formidable scales could not protect it from Jin-Woo's unyielding assault, ultimately leading to its demise. The scene shifted to a hospital reception, where a nurse inquired, "Has Jin-Woo returned?" Her colleague shook her head, replying, "No, he's not back yet." The doctor wondered, "He left in the morning, and it's already evening. Why hasn't he returned yet?" The nurse responded, "He has recovered, we're planning to discharge him tomorrow." The doctor, concerned, replied, "But you never know with hunters. We must keep them in the hospital. I've heard that high-class hunters earn a fortune, but those in the lower ranks risk their lives for very little. I can't fathom why they choose such perilous work. It's truly unnerving. We often receive hunters whose bodies are in terrible shape, severely injured. I have no idea what they encounter in those dungeons. Common folks have never ventured inside, and all the hunters we receive are drenched in blood. Even victims of road accidents don't suffer injuries as severe," remarked the nurse, astounded. The doctor shared his perspective, saying, "It's not what it seems. The weakest among the hunters are more powerful than regular people. It's not an exaggeration to call them almost like monsters." Meanwhile, Jin-Woo, after defeating a massive snake in the dungeon, discovered he had leveled up 3 times. He couldn't help but laugh, thinking, "I feel stronger than before." Beside him, he noticed 2 items in his inventory: a dagger made from the snake's teeth, which could paralyze or inflict a bleeding effect, and a potion containing the snake's venom that could harden his body upon consumption. Jin-Woo excitedly thought, "All my clothes are in tatters, my sword is shattered, and my body is covered in wounds. Yet, this dagger is superior to Mr. Kim's sword." Examining the mysterious bag, he mused, "I'm not sure of its purpose, but I'll keep it in my inventory for future use." On another window, it declared that he had defeated the dungeon's boss, signaling the impending end of all dungeons and a return to normalcy. The message disappeared, and Jin-Woo found himself at Habjung Station. Not knowing the time and seeing rain outside, Jin-Woo encountered a soldier who questioned his presence. The soldier inquired if he was unaware of the news and asked what had transpired. The soldier glanced at Jin-Woo, a broken sword in his hand, and said, "Haven't you heard? Are you a hunter?" Jin-Woo replied, "Yes, I am a hunter." The soldier then directed him, "Sir Hunter, please follow me. Other hunters are currently engaged in battle with monsters. It appears these monsters emerged from a gate." Jin-Woo speculated, "I believe these monsters are the result of a gate opening." The soldier informed him, "The smaller monsters have been dealt with, but the boss monster from the dungeon is still at large. Several hunters are confronting it." Jin-Woo, his senses heightened, perceived the boss's immense power. The colossal stone monster, the dungeon boss, loomed outside. A crowd had gathered, including ordinary onlookers. Soldiers warned, "Please refrain from taking photos. This is a highly perilous situation." People discussed how long it would take the hunters to vanquish the monster, questioning why it hadn't been defeated yet. Amid the commotion, a high-ranking hunter named Tank stood out. A fellow hunter beckoned the healer, urging, "Come quickly and tend to Tank." The healer responded, "We're doing our best. What are you doing to expedite this?" Other hunters explained, "We have limited magic users. Our ability to hold it off is finite." Jin-Woo joined the spectators, observing the ongoing battle. He assessed the hunters' low ranks, with 80 rank and 1 D rank hunter. The D rank tank was primarily a shield, unable to attack. They had just 2 healers. Jin-Woo, casting his gaze upon the second healer, noticed a misstep. A girl implored him, "What are you doing here? You claim to be a B rank healer. Hurry and heal us." However, Juhai remained traumatized from the statue monster incident, unable to mend the wounded. A massive stone monster emerged from a dungeon, where numerous hunters struggled against it. Jin-Woo contemplated the past week since their escape from the dungeon. He realized the trauma still haunted both him and Shibita, but he took up his sword with determination, muttering, "No, not for me. I aspire to become stronger," Jin-Woo declared with unwavering determination, pushing aside his fear. He poised himself for action, facing a formidable foe in the dungeon. Aware that the boss was a rank above the one he had previously battled, Jin-Woo acknowledged its greater power. Resolute to make an impact, he hurled his shattered sword at the colossal stone monster with all his might. Meanwhile, within the fierce battle against the boss, other hunters observed the grim situation and shared their concerns. "If this battle persists, we may not survive unless a high-ranking hunter intervenes." A D-rank tank valiantly defended his comrades, and Juhai, the healer, voiced her concerns. "Our healing magic is depleting rapidly. What's our next move?" As Jin-Woo's sword struck the stone monster's visage, cracks spread across its stony exterior. The hunters found newfound hope, realizing our attacks are making a difference. We just need to keep pushing, and this creature will crumble. Their determination bore fruit as the colossal beast eventually crumbled into a pile of rubble. Their triumph raised questions among the hunters, especially the D-ranked one, who marveled, moments ago, none of our attacks were effective. What changed? Did someone else intervene? It was then that the tank discovered a fragment of the sword Jin-Woo had hurled. Confused, he questioned how such a small sword could fell a seemingly impervious stone monster, one that even 10 hunters combined couldn't defeat. Puzzled and seeking answers, they turned to the crowd, and a soldier who had witnessed the event recounted. A hunter was here. He used this broken sword. However, Jin-Woo had already left the scene. The soldier added, he was here a moment ago, but he's gone now. The tank contemplated, was he a high-ranking hunter silently watching over us? His power seemed extraordinary. In the midst of this, Jin-Woo contemplated his actions, amazed that a single blow had been enough to vanquish the boss monster. Dismissing the notion that the monster was weak, he reflected on his newfound strength, revealed by his stats window, which now showed him at level 18 with a remarkable 48% increase in strength. The scene shifted to a hospital room, where Jin-Woo had returned, diligently working on his physical fitness. With sculpted muscles and a defined six-pack, he engaged in chin-ups and push-ups. A nurse entered the room and, feeling shy, turned her face away, apologizing. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude."